Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Devlin Del Fuego, and today we're going to be doing some Waze editing. If you're new to Waze, then you're in the right spot. We're going to be covering over the basics of Waze in this whole entire playlist. So, in today's episode, we are going to be covering just the UI aspect of Waze. So, basically, like the interface, what's where, what's going on there. So, without further ado, let's get into it, my guy. So, as you can see right here, this is the logo spot. This is where all of your buttons are going to be for your feed. So your feed is basically, once you become a level 2 editor, you're able to look at user reports. So basically, if you're in the app, you're driving, you notice that there's a road closure, or if there's a road that's missing, or something or the other that's wrong with the map, you do your report, type in what's wrong. Most people don't, but they should. It helps us out a lot. Put in there what's wrong, and then it ships it off to us. And this is the feed that you'll see right here, where the user reports come in. So you just click on one, it'll pop up like right here, showing you basically like this one right here pops up. It shows you where they were driving, which is the green line, and the purple line is showing you where Waze suggested they should go. Not all user reports has this. Some of them do, some of them don't. Some of them, if you don't have your navigation going, it won't show the purple line, but it'll show the green line. Or if you don't have Waze telling you which way to go, it won't show the purple line. Basically, you just have the app open and you're just driving, and then you report one, and then yeah. Your drive section right here is where you've been driving. So every time you drive, it makes a report and then it shows you where you drove on the map. So each time you drive, that's basically each time right there. Then the areas, once you become a level 3 or a level 2, depending on the situation, you can get an area, which become an AM. And then once you get that small amount of area, you can actually, no matter if you drive in there or not, you'll always have permission to edit in that area at any point in time. As long as you keep editing, you won't lose your area. But yeah, that's where all your areas show up. Also, where your drive area is, which I believe is area 1, is your driving area. So anywhere you drive, you hit that, it'll show you all of within a certain range of how far you've driven. So like I think level 1 and level 2, I think it's like a mile. So if you drive in a straight line and within a mile of that straight line, you can edit. And then the farther you go up in levels or ranks in Waze, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Then the events tab right here is basically once you hit level 3, you can create events, which is basically, say for instance, like if you were here in Ohio, like in Circleville, they have the pumpkin show in October. So you would create the pumpkin show, you do the URL, all the other jazz, and then you would start adding road closures, and then those road closures would be assigned to that event. So then anything that it's up. So basically, once the event goes live, so when Pumpkin Show starts, it'll send out an alert to all the local people in the area saying, "Hey, the road closures are going to be going up because of the Pumpkin Show." But not everybody uses that. That's only just for major events. This is your settings tab. So basically, if there's anything you need to change, I'm in the United States, so I use Imperial. I don't use metric. Environments is North America only, English. Spread arrows. So basically, if you have disabled turns on, it basically separates the arrows so they're not stacking on top of each other. It's better to look. Making it transparent, I don't use that because it makes it harder to actually click on it. The search box, if there's something you want to search for like a specific state, a business, an address, you can type it in here. The comment area, this is you can choose a point or an area. So a point, you basically it would put a dot right there, just like that, a dot, and then you can type in the title, you can type in the comments and everything. And then anybody who's in this area and you say like, oh well, this is a new development, which we will be covering over here in a minute in another later episode, making roads and stuff. You would put like, okay, this is a new development, which I will actually do right now. Let me delete this real quick. and actually make a area. So it's basically a point here, point here, point here. I believe it's like just this whole entire area. So I could just put in new housing. And then if you want to add an expiration date to it, you can. You can also convert it from an area to a point if you wanted to here. And then you just hit the save button right here, boom. Now it's saved, so anybody who comes over here in this area, they'll see this, they can click on it and see that I made the comment right here. Same thing with the point comment, you can do the same thing. That's just a brief overview of it, but that's all it pretty much does. Then the places tab, this is where you would select what type of place you're going to make, like a car service, transportation. We do have rules on certain businesses on with how they should be addressed for places. You would want to check the wiki page based on your state on how they want to arrange certain places, or some of them just use the global standard for places. That's how you would want to follow. Parking lots is just for parking lot, and residential point place, which we'll go over later, is for when you're actually adding a different type of house number. It's like it's a house number, but it's like a different tier of a house number. Roads, basically you can create a road just like any other road, and they don't show up on the map. We're not going to add that road right there, but then you can change a different type. Actually, hold up. Double click on it. Click on it again. This is where you would add your street address, city, state, country. If there's an alternative address, you can add that. You can change the type of road it is. We'll go over that in another episode of basically doing edits for streets. You have your paved tunnel and all. Most of this stuff right here you won't really need, depending on if it's a one-way or two-way. The speed limit, if you need to do it. If you're above a level 1, you can lock the road to a higher tier, to a higher rank. So then basically like highways and like ramps and stuff, those are usually ranked to level 4 or 5, depending on where you're at. Elevation is basically if it's a bridge, so everything you put down is ground zero, which is ground right here like you see it. And then if you want to add it to a higher tier or below the ground, you can do that. So if there's like a street here, which for some reason my segments aren't popping up, if you put this across this, it'll be like, hey, it's the same elevation. You need to change it. So if this was a bridge going over that, you would change the elevation to a 1. So it's on top of it. Pedestrian path, we don't really use those. Roundabouts is if your state or country has roundabouts, you can make a roundabout. It's quick and easy. Cameras, red light cameras, speedy cameras. We don't really add those to the map per se. Each state and place has their own rules. Like here in Ohio, we don't do red light cameras because they got rid of them. Junction boxes, you can't really do a junction box until you hit level 4, so I wouldn't worry about that. The area is like to level 5, can't mess with that. We'll go over that in later episode. This is the trash can, so if you ever add anything, say for instance like this road, you gonna hit delete, it will delete the road. The back button, just in case if you wanted to go back, so let's say for instance like you hit delete, and then it pops up the error like blah, 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 blah. Okay, hold up. Let me see something. Let me add. Come on, add that. And then you wanted to hit delete, but then you're like, oh no, I didn't want to delete that. You can hit the back button and it'll bring it back. As long as you don't hit save. Once you hit save, everything is permanent. Then that's the forward. So if you delete it and you want to go bring it back, or just re-delete it, you can basically go backwards and forwards. The save button, notifications area. Basically, if you have any notifications, like a new update that recently we just came out with, or they want to let you know something, you'll get that there. This is your user profile. Will show your level. I'm a level 3. Your name, your email address, which will be hidden for this video. This is your driving points, how many points you've gotten from driving, as far as like reporting stuff and just driving in general. These are your edit points right here for how many points you've gotten from editing the map. This right here is for the forum post, how many posts you've done in the forum. Your count settings, live map, Waze Map Editor, support, and logout. This is your layers tab right here. So basically, if there's something you want to add or hide, you can get here. If you're a level 1, you really don't need the issues because you can't do URLs yet. Places, you can see their names. If you want to show their names, parking lots, you can show their names. Roads. So basically, segments. The segment parts is this right here is the road. The paths is a new thing, which is going to be in another video, but it tells if you're going from like one ramp to another ramp or something, like when it veers. It's more advanced. We'll get on that to another one. Junction box is pretty much the same thing. It's a level 4 thing. Road closures. If someone put a road closure down, like right here, you'd be able to see it. That was the other thing I didn't go over, the road closures. So yeah, the road closure section, this is where you would add the name, if it's a one-way or two-way. Start, finish, an event, like I said earlier, if it's going to be a part of an event, and then any other closures that might be in between here that need to be closed down. And the lanes and roads, this is like if you're doing lane guidance. But you guys won't be doing that until you guys get later. This is more of the basic overview. Enforcement cameras, like I said, we don't have that here, but if you want to keep it enabled, just in case if you see one, if someone put one down and it needs to be removed, you can put one down. Railroad tracks, you can see where all the railroads are. So basically, when a user gets alerted about a railroad, it's like, hey, well, the Waze keeps alerting me about a railroad. And I'm not near a railroad. Well, you can see where it's at with the railroad tracks. House numbers, if you need to see the house numbers, we will go more in depth with that, which there is no house numbers over here. I'm gonna have to do some house number paving over here then later on in another episode. Satellite view, basically it just shows the image from Google. Area managers, it should show you what area manager is over here, which should be quite a bit of them. GPS points, based on when you're driving, it tracks all that, so it has all the GPS data. So if you're trying to add a road or something and it's not on the road, it's not on the map, you can basically use the traffic from the GPS points to kind of pinpoint where everything is at. But we'll go more in depth with that without trying to use GPS points later on. Editing area, basically with editing area, if you're outside of your editing area, it becomes dark gray, kind of like a darker shade of, let me see if I can get it to pop up. Like if I go way over here, come on. And then I do see everything is like a light color, like it's normal. But if as soon as I hit that, you see everything turn dark. The reason it does that is because it's outside of your editing area. Anything that's inside of your editing area would be the regular color like this. So I always like to keep that checked so I know when I hit my borderline area for where I can't edit anymore. So if there's something I need to edit and it's outside of my area, I can say, let whoever's in that area say, hey, in the Discord, can you edit this or fix this or whatever. Live users, basically it shows you where all the other editors are on the map. If I can find some, if anybody is on right now, let's see here. Oh yeah, like this one right here, Ben is on right there. That's where it shows you, because if you tick that off, or not that one, this one, see it goes away. You can see where all the other editors. So if you're editing something and another editor comes over here is trying to edit it too, they know that you're in the same area and you guys can communicate. Disabled turns is basically if you say there's like a no left turn somewhere. Let me go downtown because I'm sure there's a no turn somewhere. That's enabled, right? Yeah, it's enabled. All right, let's see. Yeah, like this. So if you can't turn left or right, it'll show an arrow like this. We'll go into more details of how to enable and disable turns and restrictions and all that jazz. Map comments, like I said, is what we did earlier with the little white dot for a point or the area. That's where it will show up. If you disable that, you won't see those on the map. Yeah, so then it just disables the comments so you can't see the comments anymore. So if you're trying to edit something and there's a comment in the way, you keep clicking the comment on accident, you can disable map comments, and then you can click on what you're trying to do. So cities will show up the city names wherever you're at. Restricted areas, basically it will show you the restriction areas with like names and stuff. Recently they added the ruler, so if there's something that you need to like measure, you can go from here to here. You know that that's 1,143 feet, and you can copy that. If you need that, they recently added that. The street view is pretty much what it is. A street view, you can pull it up and see where things are quick and easy. The center map to the current location. This is the zoom in and out. Makes it super easy. It goes up to 22. So if you keep zooming in to number 22, that's as close as you'll get. And then it goes, I believe all the way to 1. Yeah, so you can see like the whole United States. You can see all the editors. Quick and easy. If you can also zoom in and zoom out with your mouse wheel. Over here is where the chat bot is. So, or not chat bot, but chat area. So you can see all the editors that are on right now. The cone icon with their number, what rank they are, or level. So if there's something you need to say, you could type it in here. You could change your visibility to visible or invisible, so nobody can see you in the chat. This is the build tile, so it lets you know when the next build is for the tile update and when it is going to start and when it was done, when it was previously built. So if you put something on the map and it's not in the current build, then you know like, okay, the next one is not due until noon tomorrow. So then about like midnight the next day, boom, the new update your edit should be on that build. If it's not there, then you might want to look at that and see, oh, it was a delay, it got pushed back. So you know that should be on the one next after that, as long as everything goes to plan. All right, so we are going to go over places and stuff. So this is like I was saying earlier, that's the path, which we'll talk about later. These little icons right here, depending on what they are, is your places. So you can see that's the name, that's the address, category based on the categories in Office, description if you need to add one, entry point, lock level, which is a 3, add a Google link, which would be proper if you add a place, try to see if you can add a Google link to that specific place, because then if a person tries to look up, say, this place, but then it only pulls up to Google, it'll get Google directions, not Waze directions. Website stuff, phone number, services, if they provide any services, hours, if you need to add the hours, if you know what the hours are. Photos, you can't add photos into the WME, which would be nice, but the only time you can add a photo is from the Waze app. So just that FYI, if you want to add a photo, you gotta do it in the app. But that is pretty much it. You got your terms down here, you got your status, which is the same thing as the other one to let you know what the tile build was. The keyboard shortcuts are down here too. So if there's something you don't know, you need a shortcut, or if you want to be a power user, you can use shortcuts. Page the key to the wiki, so you can go on based on where you live. The editing forms, which should be the actual forms. So if you need to post a uplock or downlock or any other type of question, they're here in the forums. And feet and all that. And then if you need the Latin long is right here too. And then the live map, which is another option for the live map, which will pop up the live map. We'll show you. It'll actually take you exactly where you're at. So like you can see, there's a closure here and a closure here. As far as I could see, everybody, that is it. Oh yeah, and then this is the city that you're in right here. So this is Columbus, Ohio. If you go somewhere else, it should. So I also have cities enabled. If you don't have the cities spot enabled, you won't see all the different colors. So once you have that enabled, you can see there's different like suburbs. So like this is Bexley. I don't think it'll pop up Bexley. No, it won't. So you have to go like into like a totally different city. So like Washington Courthouse, if you zoom in, it'll pop up to Washington Courthouse. So yeah, that is everything, everyone. I hope you guys enjoy this overview of the UI and a little bit of dabbling of what stuff we're going to be talking into later. But until then, I will see you guys in the next one, and enjoy the series, and happy wazing.